Imagine a powerhouse vocalist who didn't even like the band at first, yet ended up shaping their iconic sound. Now that's a story worth diving into. Donna Jean Godchaux brought both steel and soul to the Grateful Dead during their golden era, but her journey was anything but straightforward. And this is the part most people miss. She wasn't just another background singer. She challenged the norms of rock and roll in ways that still spark debate today. Let me paint the picture for you. Back in 1970, when Donna Jean Thatcher, her maiden name at the time, relocated to California, she was already a seasoned pro in the music world at just 23 years old. For 5 years, she'd been part of Southern Comfort, a talented group of singers who provided backup vocals at the legendary Fame Studios in her hometown of Alabama. But here's where it gets controversial. Despite her impressive resume, she openly despised the Grateful Dead. She loathed their name and boldly claimed that fans only adored them because they were high on drugs during shows. To prove her point, she even bet she could attend a concert sober and still hate it. Spoiler alert, she was wrong. That fateful night at the Winterland Ballroom changed everything. By the end of the Grateful Dead's performance, this self-proclaimed retired musician declared, "If I ever sing again, it'll be with this band." Attending more shows, she crossed paths with local pianist Keith Godchaux, whom she married soon after. After some clever maneuvering to get her husband a gig with Jerry Garcia, Donna found herself hired too. It's a testament to the Grateful Dead's legendary status in American rock that her 8 years with them became the defining chapter of her career. Before joining, her track record was already stellar, even if it wasn't always properly credited. Fame Studios wasn't known for giving shout-outs to backup singers, so there's no full archive of her work there. Still, she lent her voice to timeless hits like Elvis Presley's Suspicious Minds and In the Getter, Percy Sledge's When a Man Loves a Woman and Warm and Tender Love, and collaborated with legends including Aretha Franklin, Otis Redding, and Dionne Warwick. For beginners wondering what made her stand out, think of her as a master of soulful harmonies that could elevate any track. Her entry into the band couldn't have been timed better. The Grateful Dead were evolving toward a more rootsy vibe with albums like 1970's Working Man's Dead and American Beauty, pioneering works in the Americana genre. But their go-to for bluesy, heartfelt vocals, keyboardist Ron Pigpen McKernan, was battling alcoholism, which tragically led to his death in 1973. Drawing from a different musical heritage than her bandmates, Donna's voice quickly wove into their fabric. You can hear it on Bob Weir's solo album Ace, essentially a Grateful Dead record in disguise, and the epic live set Europe 72, a 3-disc collection from their spring tour that many fans hail as the greatest Grateful Dead album ever. But here's where it gets controversial. Her integration wasn't as effortless as it seemed. As a studio vocalist rather than a live performer, the Grateful Dead's marathon shows were a crash course in chaos. Their sets often lasted over 3 hours, with no set lists. Instead, they improvised like jazz musicians, calling out songs mid-performance or steering jams toward the next tune. And in the early 70s, this high-stakes adventure frequently unfolded under the influence of psychedelics like LSD. Take this wild example from the Europe 72 tour. Donna took the stage after 15 hits of acid, only to discover the band's supply had been restocked with fresh, potent doses. In her words, she spent much of the show curled up under her husband's piano, but miraculously hit her cues at the mic. Adding another layer of complexity, the Grateful Dead's inner circle included strong women like Jerry's partner, Carolyn Adams, audio engineer Betty Cantor-Jackson, and drummer Bill Kreutzmann's wife, Cecilia, who essentially launched their merchandising business. Yet the band's core remained all male. And as biographer Dennis McNally delicately noted, it wasn't exactly a haven for feminist ideals. Donna, the only woman in the Grateful Dead's 30-year run, proved resilient. She rarely took lead vocals, but rejected the backup singer label, favoring ensemble singing. Think of it as everyone chiming in on choruses in tracks like Playing in the Band or Eyes of the World, creating that unified, euphoric sound. Still, she stirred up controversy. Fanatics known as Deadheads, who obsessively recorded shows, captured not just magical moments, but also flubs. and vocal harmonies were a common stumbling block. It felt unjust that Donna's pitches drew criticism when others in the band could sound off-key too. Yet her live prowess shone through on releases like the later One from the Vault or the closing of Winterland, proving she could be utterly mesmerizing. In the studio, her vocals were flawless. Listen to the rich depth she adds to Row Jimmy and Stella Blue from 1973's Wake of the Flood. Those achingly beautiful ballads, or the gritty soul in The Music Never Stopped from 1975's bluesier phase. And her standout work on 1977's polished Terrapin Station. Venturing beyond the dead, her contributions to Palm Sunday and Down Home on Jerry Garcia's 1978 Cats Under the Stars are simply breathtaking. By 1979, after The Uneven Shakedown Street, an album that reeked of cocaine excess, both Keith and Donna exited the band. They returned to Alabama to tackle Keith's deepening drug issues, and just when he'd overcome his addictions. Donna remarried bassist David McKay in 1981, adopting the name Donna Jean Godchaux McKay, and formed new bands. Yet she never truly distanced herself from the Grateful Dead. She continued playing their songs, and her take on Crazy Fingers highlights a 2014 album with Jeff Mattson, who plays in the tribute band Zen Tricksters. She even recorded with them. Donna also joined the Dark Star Orchestra, a group dedicated to faithful recreations of classic Dead concerts, contributed to endless archival releases, and popped up on stage with former bandmates. Once seen as a divisive addition, time has polished her legacy. Deadheads can debate lineup favorites endlessly, but the 70s era with Donna often tops the list. The band's official tribute to her passing echoed this. Her contributions will forever remain part of the tapestry that continues to be woven. What do you think? Was Donna's voice unfairly criticized, or do you see her as a perfect fit for the Dead's free-spirited vibe? Do you believe the band's drug-fueled culture enhanced or hindered their music? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious to hear if you agree or disagree.